me take you back to a moment where everything cracked for me. Imagine your car is the only way you make money, but it's broken and you need to fix it to work. But to fix it, you need money. And the only way to make money is to go to work. But the only way you can work is if you get the car fixed, but the repair money has to come from the work you can't do until the car's fixed. Yeah, that was pretty much my life before 2025. Now add this on top. You're paying a mechanic thinking finally you got the problem solved, only for the same issue to come back 3 days later. Now I'm smiling now, but I promise you the level of defeat that you feel when stuff like that happens is indescribable. It wears on you in a way that people really just don't talk about, right? It's not about the car, it's not the money. Really what it is the feeling that your life is stuck. That's what I felt. Moments like that are what led to my breaking point. And I said, you know what, like enough. I need a career that's going to actually move forward, that's gonna move me forward. And today I'm happy to say I'm working remotely as a technical support specialist at a software company with over 1,200 employees with a very realistic path to a senior specialist role in 2 years. I got here with no degree, no prior IT experience, and a burnt out engine, literally and figuratively. I got here through what I call a mini boot camp by a company called Course Careers. And if you're watching this, I want you to know that you don't need to stay stuck, okay? You don't need to stay overwhelmed. You don't need the perfect background. What you need is the right direction and the right strategy. And my hope is that I can deliver, give you that direction and that strategy, share what worked for me, talk about Course Careers. You might be thinking, what is that? I'm gonna go over that. So if you're having anything related going on that happened with me, we're gonna go over that in this video right now. So if your story is anything like mine, here's what we're gonna cover in this video that's gonna help you. Number one, the mindset shift you must make if you're gonna decide to do something crazy with your life, like break into IT. Number two, what makes Course Careers so different? Why shouldn't you just go sign up for some free courses and watch YouTube videos? What makes it different? Number three, we're gonna really do a deep dive, a step-by-step breakdown of the entire IT support course so you can understand why it's so great. And then number four, the exact strategy that gets students hired. I think this is something you should probably, even if you don't try to get into IT support, some of the strategies that we're going to talk about is applicable anywhere. And then I'm going to give you like my honest take on this course. I think there's a couple of things that should be added. We're going to go over it, right? We're going to go over what's real, what's hype, who is it for? And throughout this video, I'm going to sprinkle in something I think is really important, right? Which is the permission of letting go any limiting beliefs that are quietly stopping you from leveling up your life. So if you're ready, if you're engaged, let's get into it. Section one, the mindset shift that makes or breaks your IT journey. This is my honest perspective. I think most people spend too much time focused on difficulties. I hear people say the market is cooked. AI is gonna take over everything. Companies won't hire you without experience. There's too much nepotism, racism, ageism, favoritism. Listen, let me be honest. I didn't spend 1 second thinking about any of that because not because I'm blind to reality, but because I know something fundamental. Whatever you feed your attention grows. If you water doubts, doubts grow. If you water solutions, opportunities grow. I chose to focus on these things: merit, action, and momentum, nothing else. And the reason why is because I once learned a lesson from Tony Robbins that when F1 drivers are trying to race or training to race, they must practice in a way that they're prepared for crashes. Now, if you can imagine, an F1 car travels on average over 200 miles per hour or 320 kilometers per hour. That's literally so fast that if you were to try to take a photo of an F1 car as it raced by, if you missed the moment by even a split second, the car would be entirely out of frame and you'd only catch an empty track, maybe even a blurred streak of color. And that's because in a fraction of a second it takes your finger to react. The car would have literally traveled the length of a city school bus or more. So F1 drivers only have milliseconds to make decisions that can cost them their lives. Even knowing when to blink is part of their training. F1 drivers train themselves to suppress blinks during corners and key overtaking moments. Nothing important is missed during this tiny gap of time. Now, why am I sharing this? A lot about life and success can be learned about how they prevent crashing. If an F1 driver loses control of their vehicle and it's about to hit a wall, the natural reflex is to look at that wall and try to avoid it. We do the same. We think if we pay attention to these larger issues, somehow we're being more realistic and that's giving us an advantage somehow. But if you're about to crash, the last thing you should do is look at the wall. Instead, look at where you want to go. Because by directing your attention to where you want to go, away from the wall that you're about to crash into, you'll give yourself a fighting chance. Now, this isn't wishful thinking. This is a skill, and it's the same for your career. Yeah, the fucking market might be tough. AI might have changed the rules. There might be bias, politics, even outright unfairness. But if you constantly focus on these barriers, they'll start to dominate your thinking and limit your movement. Just like an F1 driver who fixates on a wall is almost certain to hit it. I decided to focus my attention on where I wanted to go. I focused on my studies, my skills, my daily actions. I directed my mind away from what I didn't want and relentlessly toward where I wanted. And many times I failed, but I didn't focus on the failure, only on the next step. And that's the lesson. My hope is that you adopt your own version of that mindset. Never let whatever the fuck is happening prevent you from succeeding. Ignore the critics, ignore the naysayers, everybody who is out there who is expressing their frustration. Don't buy into that energy. Make your own energy. And that's the first mindset shift that you need to take if you're going to compete in this market today. So section number 2, why does course careers work? You might be asking, first of all, what is course careers? Simply put, this is your way to get experience if you're entering the market for the first time. To me, I think that's the best way to explain it, right? Because people hear course and there's a lot of connotation that comes with that. Like, what the hell does that even mean? In my opinion, course careers is one of the best ways to get real experience if you're entering the market for the first time, right? It's possible to have the right degree and the right certificates, but still not be qualified to get a job because you don't have experience. Course career solves that problem by helping you build a portfolio. But here's where I kind of want to slow down and teach you something that most people never figure out in today's market. Having a portfolio of projects that match what the job that you're applying for is more powerful than a degree alone. When an employer opens your resume, they're not thinking, oh my God, do they have the right certificate from the right company? They're thinking, can they do the work? A portfolio answers that question instantly. A portfolio says, here's what I've built, here's how I think, here's how I solve problems, here's how I work with real tools you actually use. This is very powerful because it removes doubt, it builds trust, it shows proof is in the pudding. It has to always be in the pudding. In fact, I don't want to eat any pudding if it doesn't have proof in it. And a lot of people are sending applications with resumes that are created with AI, fucking lying. And why do you think most people get skipped over? You gotta give proof for your ability. And in my opinion, this is where Course Career shines. This is why I'm an advocate. This is why I'm an affiliate. This is why I support them, because it worked for me. They teach you everything, right? From doing the right labs, from doing practical exercises, to doing the hands-on activities, building with the systems you're gonna be working with if you get those jobs. These are all the things that you're gonna be putting in your portfolio. And this is what makes you stand out from people who only show that they have this certificate, maybe the Security Plus certificate or the A+ certificate and a degree, right? Basically, when you build a portfolio the right way, you stop hoping recruiters take a chance on you, right? You stop hoping and thinking maybe you could do the job. You start proving that you have already done the job and you're already the right person. And if you really want to know, go check out my portfolio. This leads directly into the next part that I want to go over. And listen, I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down, because yes, I'm promoting Course Careers, but I'm telling you, this is what worked for me. Just go look at my LinkedIn. Just go check out my portfolio. Just go look at the breadcrumbs that I left behind. Here's really what makes Course Careers different. It's the mission and the reason why it was created. Most online courses, they're just going to throw information at you. College is going to give you theory, hope you figure out the rest. But Course Careers is different because it's designed with one mission: get you hired, period. Everything that's inside the program supports that mission. Number one, it's built backwards, literally starting from what employers are actually asking for in their job descriptions, not what a textbook committee decided 5 years ago that you need to learn, not what looks good on paper, actual hiring requirements. It was built by people who are working in the industry now. Not professionals who left the field in 1999, not influencers repeating secondhand advice, real practitioners who know the tools, the systems, and the hiring expectations today. Number 3, they audit their curriculum with employers regularly, which means every module, every lesson, every lab is aligned with what companies are currently screening for. Thousands of students with zero experience have landed jobs. This is not theoretical jobs. This is not maybe one day if you stick it out long enough jobs. I'm talking about real entry-level IT positions being posted and celebrated in the community every single week. And this is another reason why I need to scream to the top of my lungs this message, because if I had figured this out faster, if I had learned this sooner, I would have done things a lot differently. So if you're watching this video, I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. I hope you're taking this energy and it leads to something that takes action and changes your life. All right, here's section number 3. We're gonna do a deep breakdown of the course. We're gonna go step by step, go through every single module and really take our time to just explain what you can expect from the inside. And I'll also give you my opinion on some of the parts, as we go through it. Module number 1, you're gonna learn about mindset, employability, and the LinkedIn Foundation. This isn't fluff. This is your digital first impression. I recommend that you don't skip over this module because you're gonna learn about how the employability framework works, how recruiters think, and how to build your LinkedIn the right way. Excellent module. I recommend you don't skip it. Take your time on it. Module number 2 is you're gonna go over the IT fundamentals. This is basically your tech vocabulary. Think about learning IT fundamentals like learning the alphabet, right? You can't read a novel if you don't understand the letters. And this module will go over hardware basics, operating systems, network concepts, IPv4, ports, protocols, MAC addresses, the OSI model. You're gonna learn a little bit about cybersecurity basics and cloud basics. Now, this part used to overwhelm me and many students, but here's the truth. You don't really need to understand everything instantly. You just need to understand it better than you did yesterday, because momentum is way more important than mastery. Don't get stuck in being the person that you gotta know every single port, every single protocol. You don't need to be that person. Get in momentum. I'm telling you, it's way better. Now, module number 3, they're gonna go over the day-to-day IT operations. This is where you stop studying tech and start actually thinking like an IT professional, right? You're gonna learn how ticketing systems work. Super basic, but you should know it because they're gonna ask if you know how to use Zendesk. Do you know how to use Jira? So you should know what ticketing systems are, how do they work. Then you're gonna learn about common issues, printers, passwords, software installs, network problems. These are the things that is part of your day-to-day. Then you're gonna talk about customer service and communication, which is probably like 50% of IT support. At least in my job, I'm technically in tech support. My job is probably like 70% communication, maybe like 60%. 40% technical resolution, technical solving, and then 60% communication. But it's really important, and I know for a fact the reason why I got hired is because I demonstrated that I'm a great communicator. This is where your customer experience actually becomes your advantage. If you can handle frustrated customers, you can definitely handle frustrated office workers or clients. Soft skills also win in interviews. Module number 4, hands-on labs. This is what gets you hired. This is why you should do it. One of the biggest parts outside of the internship program. The labs are the difference between I'm just interested in getting into IT, I can actually do the job. You want to be able to say, I can do the job. That is the whole point of building home labs. And in this course, you're going to do a lot of different home labs. You're going to work with Microsoft Azure, which is a cloud service provider. You're going to work with Active Directory, one of the most important parts of security. If you're trying to get into cybersecurity, you need to have a solid foundation of Active Directory, because Active Directory is probably at the center of most environments, like most security environments. Having experience with Active Directory is really important. You're going to do a lab on that. You're also going to do a lab with DNS. You're going to do a lab with network, drive, file shares, setting up virtual networks. These are tools that companies really use. And when you put them on your resume, you're not guessing if you'll be the right fit for them. You're actually matching your experience to these job descriptions. Now, they also have an incredible community, and I would highly recommend that you take advantage of that. I know I'm a smart guy, and going through the course, I'm like, I can do this. All I got to do is read the instructions and do the lab. But that was a little bit arrogant because there was some labs where I honestly got stuck. And it got to the point I really had no idea what to do. I'll give you an example. So on the lab, you're building 2 virtual machines in Microsoft Azure. You have to set up network connectivity between both of them by putting them on the same virtual network. When I will create the first machine and then try to connect it to the second machine, it would never communicate, right? I would send a ping and the ping would never return. I did that lab 3 times. I couldn't figure out why it was happening. And it wasn't until I used a community where I reached out and somebody basically said, hey, did you wait 15 minutes before making the second virtual machine? Turns out the reason why it wasn't communicating is because when the first machine was created on a data center, it takes a while for the VLAN to be created for the second one to be on the same one. So basically all I had to do was wait. And I would have never known that if I didn't use the community. So definitely use the community. They do have coaching. They also have an AI tutor. I didn't really use the AI tutor as part of the course. Like I just used ChatGPT, but it's there for you. And then also coaching. They do have $30 coaching. You can get a one-on-one session with somebody who's already working in the field. You can ask them for advice. They can fix your resume, take a look at your LinkedIn. They can do interview questions with you. They can just basically give you clarity. $30. Compare that to $100,000 for college advising you from people who have never worked in IT for years. So that's extremely helpful. Section number 4, the hiring strategy where most students fail without guidance. Let me slow down again for this part because this is also where real careers are made. There are 3 pillars to getting hired. Pillar number 1 is your resume. Course Careers teaches you what keywords employers search for. Telling you, make sure you understand what keywords employers are searching for. You're gonna learn how to frame your training as experience, how to position your labs and your projects, how to translate any non-tech experience that you have. For example, like me, I was in Uber, how to translate that into valuable skills. It's all about speaking the language on your resume to the person who would be reading it. Generic entry-level resumes don't work. You need a tailored IT support resume, and they're gonna show you exactly how to do that. The second pillar is LinkedIn optimization. This is not optional. This is not a nice to have. LinkedIn are where recruiters live. If your LinkedIn isn't strong, you're invisible. It's as simple as that. Pillar number 3. This blew my mind. How to bypass the black hole of online applications, how to find out who's hiring, how to get their contact information, how to email them in a way that gets responses, templates that are literally plug and play. This is the difference between sending 1,500 applications and getting interviews within a couple weeks. When I got started on this course, it took me about a month to finish. After that, it took me about 3 months to land my first job. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It was an emotional roller coaster. I felt, name any emotion, I felt it. Angry, bitter, upset, jealous, frustrated, depressed, sad, anxious. Listen, I remember sitting in random coffee shops studying. I remember feeling overwhelmed, unqualified, feeling like the whole world was yelling at the top of their lungs with fucking huge loudspeakers that getting into tech in this market is impossible. But for some reason, I just kept going. And the moment I got my offer letter back in January, like the first week of January, that was something I truly felt like just finally. Now I have like my first real foot in the door. It's easy for me to like tell you how great this is, but there's real struggle that comes with this. I like to tell people I think getting into tech is simple, but not easy. It's pretty simple what you need to do when you understand the strategy and the formula, but it's not easy. There's gonna be effort that you need to put in. Some of you, you're gonna take the course, you're probably gonna land a job within 4 weeks of finishing the course. Some of you, you're gonna be like me, it's gonna take you 3 months. And some of you, you might take the course, you won't take it serious, you don't put in the effort, you don't sign up for the free internship program, you don't put effort in your portfolio, and I'll be honest, it's not gonna work for you at all. The thing I wanna kind of point out to you at the end of this video is that there's gonna be effort that you need to put into this. But if you dedicate yourself and you do exactly everything that they're saying, I promise you it's gonna work. And if it doesn't work, there's 2 other things you should probably do. Number 1, go get the MS900 certification from Microsoft. You should understand Microsoft 365, the solutions that they offer. And then you should also get the MD102 certification to make sure those certifications is not just knowledge, it's skill. You do a project with Microsoft Intune. Now, the reason why I say that is because a lot of the rejections I got back when I was applying, I noticed they asked me if I had Microsoft 365 experience, if I knew how to use Microsoft Intune. And that's the only thing in this course I think is missing. So if you go through it and you still aren't having that much success, go ahead and add those to your resume. Now, that's that's pretty much it. I'd like to know at the bottom of this video, what is the biggest thing holding you back from your career? And if this helped you, please go ahead and hit the like. It's gonna help more people find this content. Follow me for more videos on breaking into IT. I'm gonna be talking a lot more about Crush Career, some of the other options that they have. I got this video out right now where I'm showing people how you solve tickets, giving you like an inside day-to-day, this is what it looks like in my job. Just all in all, leveling up your life. This is Evan. I'll see you in the next video, and peace.